All right, everybody. Welcome back to Scratch the Vinyl. You made it back for another week, and we couldn't be happier to have you with us. So, I got to tell you guys, I am completely pumped about this time of year. I was pumped about fall, but then I always kind of fool myself because I hate the cold. And I fool myself into thinking I don't like this time of year. It's getting colder, but I actually do, right? As soon as Halloween goes away, I immediately start the Christmas songs, and I'm just listening to Christmas music nonstop. So, I got to ask you guys right off the bat, and I've got plenty of takes on this. First off, I'm going to bring in my co-hosts. Let's get Randy. Randy, how the heck are you doing today?
I've been dealing with some stuff, but it's good to be back on with you guys here on another great day of doing Scratch the Vinyl. So, Christmas, are you kidding me? Well, I've already noticed one of my stations on my dial in the car have already gone to 24 hours of Christmas music.
Oh, yeah. That's the one I'm listening to, you know it? All the time. Every time I hit that car, boom, it's blasted.
Now, I will only stay on the station if it's a song I like. Otherwise, I switch right away.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to admit that I actually have already been listening nonstop to Christmas music. But I do preface it by saying I don't listen until after Thanksgiving.
Well, let's get the karaoke report from you. I mean, you got the No Country Power Hour right now. Are you having people hitting you with the hard-hitting Christmas songs as we speak?
The Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, I did a show, and yes, there were 2 Christmas songs sung.
Man.
And if Julie's listening, it's all her fault.
Well, it's kind of Christmas time is a bittersweet thing for a lot of people. It's like it's so exciting, and you have kids, you have presents, you can think about all the, but it's not exciting for everybody, right? I mean, the holidays are a tough time, especially with the loss of people and everything else. It can be really emotional. It can be really hard for people. I can't think of a better song that really brings it out of people emotionally than Elvis's Blue Christmas, right? I don't know. I mean, if I were going to karaoke, that'd be one I'd want to sing. I'd want to imitate the king. I'd want to do all that stuff. But how about you, Brooke? I haven't brought you on the show just yet, but come on in.
Hello. Merry almost Christmas.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Yes, absolutely. All of it. Happy all of it. This is funny. I used to listen to Christmas music like literally in July. Like I loved it so much. Now it's more putting the Christmas tree up, or if you're making cookies or whatever, we'll blare it. I used to do it with my kids all the time. And that was a great tradition until finally one day they said, we don't really have to listen to this music. And I was like, I said, look at your mother. Look how happy I am. They're like, you know what? Then they started buying me CDs at Christmas of all kinds of different Christmas music, which is good because it was just the same stuff over and over again. And I remember as a little girl, I think it was the Oak Ridge Boys and it was Silver Bells. And that was my dad's favorite song. So I remember that song as Christmas time. And then, of course, my mother, she's kind of the funny lady. And she would always sing, Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. And that was her song. And she'd make her own lyrics up. But Christmas music in our family was a huge staple from like Thanksgiving on. And so I enjoy Christmas music. I really do. And some people absolutely despise it. And I will say one thing, and I'm going to get so many haters, but Mariah Carey Christmas, I can't listen to it. And they play it at the bar quite often and people love it, most of them. But yeah, I think it's because I just have heard it so many times, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway. It's interesting you say that because I was going to bring up the fact that the most exciting part about the Christmas season is when they unchain and pull the rock away from the giant cave and they let the Mariah Carey out, right? And she comes out and she's like one of Godzilla's, evil villains coming out of there. Oh, and she kind of like brushes herself off, and she then makes $2.6 million every Christmas season because they play All I Want for Christmas Is You that many times. I mean, so you're about sick of that song, huh?
Yes, I am. I'm so sick of it. And I don't know. But I mean, I don't know how I'm not sick of Silver Bells by Oak Ridge Boys. I've been listening to that since I was like 3.
I have that album. That's a great album. Yeah, I have if I can find, I might even have 2. If I have that second one, I'm definitely gonna like rush it over to you.
My God, I would love it. And I remember my Elvira. I love that song. Put my cans on. But yeah, I want to see if I can find like an adult size rocking horse and put my cans on and sing to Silver Bells. Oh my God, my dad would just freak out. That'd be awesome.
You could ride one of your bar patrons like
Yep. I already have a couple of mine. Their knees might not be so good though.
you have any Christmas albums? I mean, this is Scratch the Vinyl. Obviously, we always talk about vinyl, but do you have any of those special albums that really hit it for you? I mean, obviously the Peanuts. I need to make sure I enunciate that well. The Charlie Brown Christmas is a classic. Like I mentioned the Elvis Christmas album. I think he put out multiples, but the one I'm thinking of, I was trying to dig it out of my vinyl and I couldn't find it. But it's a blue album and it's got the King on there. But I mean, it's got all the classics. For me, it doesn't get any better than that. Do you have any classics in mind that you might have in your collection, Randy?
I have the Bing Crosby White Christmas.
Oh yeah,
that's like maybe the oldest staple album I got. That's probably the oldest album cover I got too.
Those are the best. I have a Burl Ives album. That's a Burl Ives Christmas. And those classic ones just hit so different. Like I was at my kids' band concert the other night and they played some of these classics and some of the weird ones. And man, it just, when you hear like that beautiful orchestra and everything behind and everything, man, it just hits so different. Like you go through so many emotions. I just close my eyes and I just put, even if I'm having a bad day, it's like anything. I just instantly transport next to like a Christmas tree and it's snowing and it's beautiful out and it instantly makes me feel better. So, I mean, for me, that's why Christmas music has such a great effect is it gives me those memories with my grandmother, right? When she's making those killer Christmas cookies that nobody else can make and all of that. And I just, oh man, it just gives me the chills.
Well, I don't want to one up you guys or anything. I mean, I had the Muppets Christmas. I think I still listen to it every once in a while. So I really like that one a lot. But I would like to maybe switch vinyls around and so we can all have different ones and listen to them and we could share. Because I really want Silver Bells. Oak Ridge Boys. Hint, hint.
If I could find that second album, I mean it, Brooke. It's yours. I know it's one of those garage sale finds where I elbowed some 80-year-old lady. Looked like both of our hands were clutching it, and we were like,
okay, was it Coriel was with you? Coriel was trying to fight over it too. Yeah.
For sure.
Give me that Christmas CD. Or vinyl, give it to me. Yeah, Christmas is all about that.
Well, we'll give a shout out to Coriel Thomas. If she's listening to this episode, I want her to come to my next show and sing a Christmas song.
Yes.
Shout out to Coriel. It's so amazing hearing like some of our guests like that and like turning on the radio and hearing her voice on there and like, oh man, we talked to her on our show. It's almost like being starstruck.
Oh yeah. I reached out to her the other night because I was like, I really miss her. And I sent her this, I probably sound like single white female. I'm like, oh my God, I miss you so much. I haven't seen you forever. Where have you been? About 2 days later, she's like, hey girl. Oh,
well, you just need to start hanging back out on Wednesday night.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm trying to give you a break, Randy. Can I sing like a Cher Christmas song or something?
Well, you do your research and then let's talk about it.
Okay.
I will say I remembered one that I really like is Last Christmas by George Michaels and Wham. And ironically, so I did a private show on Thanksgiving night and I did have a guy come up and request to sing that. And I forgot. And he actually did a really good job of it. So I was like, that made me happy for some reason. I don't know. I think just because I like George Michaels and that And the more I hear that song now, I like it. I appreciate it more now than I maybe did when it first came out.
In movies, there's so many different Christmas music that people use, and it's a different, they'll make it scarier or they'll make it more fun, or one of the actors will sing it. And like, I remember in Home Alone, like rocking around the Christmas tree, and he has all these little like things. And, I remember like that song affiliated with that. And so like with music or with movies, there's a lot of Christmas music that I don't want to say it now, I see it differently, but I like Home Alone, like Randy was saying, how you remember certain things. But yeah, I don't know.
You mean like the Die Hard soundtrack?
That is not a Christmas movie, is it?
I think we've taken a Scratch the Vinyl poll, and there is and Die Hard is absolutely a Christmas movie. It is.
Yeah, my fiance agrees with you too. He's told me that because I'm like, are you kidding? Because he's wearing a Santa hat.
Takanomi Plaza right there with the Christmas tree and everything. It's lit up. And there's a soundtrack. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like Krampus. Have you seen that one? That's a Christmas movie.
As is the new Terrifier, right? I mean, he's got a Santa costume on. He's spreading holiday cheer to everybody.
Yeah, it's the Halloween Christmas. Well, The Nightmare Before Christmas. I love that movie.
So here, I'm going to prove a point that on the Die Hard movie, they had Let It Snow, Singing in the Rain, Winter Wonderland, Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC. If that isn't a Christmas movie, then I don't know what is.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Actually,
Santa Claus.
I'm not saying the music didn't come in through the elevator. I'm just saying it was in the movie.
It's true.
Well, it looks here like the official poll out of 1 million people we polled, all the millions of listeners, we've got 95% of them are saying, yes, Brooke, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I'm sorry, the listeners have spoken.
I choose Elf or the old school Rudolph and Santa's Coming to Town and remember the California Raisins?
Oh, yeah.
They had, I think, a CD or a tape out that you could get for Christmas. That's Christmas, not Die Hard. Jeez, guys, what is going on in this world?
So let's play the old switcheroo here then. Let's do what we've been doing. Let's go over some lyrics. I sent you guys some lyrics that really meant something to me. I don't know what you guys have pulled up, but I mean, for me, Happy Xmas, War is Over, John Lennon. It doesn't get any more classic than that. But when you start to dive into the verse of what they had to say, I would love to get you guys' take, especially Randy, because I know Randy and I basically high five each other over the Beatles all the time. So I'm just gonna pick one that I like to dissect. Honestly, I just like the chorus the most. The Very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. It's kind of a strange lyric for a Christmas song, but John Lennon was that type of writer. Especially he was taking Christmas to a different level. When you guys hear that type of, and what he's talking about basically crying for the war to be over.
Well, first of all, I'm sure I've talked about this before, but Christmas time was a time that I would literally listen to that John Lennon solo album front to back all the time. There was just something about that album, I tell you what, and it does touch on that, just kind of wanting peace in the world and music to make us happy, and just he was singing about love. His lyrics were all about love and his relationships at the time with Yoko and his son. I mean, all those songs were about his family and just wanting a better world. And we could use a lot of that right now.
I do. I love those lyrics so much. And I know at one point he says, and what have you done to make this world better? And then at the end, it says, what have we done to make this world better, basically? And it doesn't just have, I mean, war is within everything, whether it's physical war, whether it's in your head, like, you know, people struggle through stuff. And especially during Christmas, it's really hard to always be joyful. And sometimes it's it's sad for some people. You know, we have loved ones that maybe passed or, you know, you're alone. But in all, I think that this is a time of year that, you know, we help each other out and really make that apparent that we are there for each other and that we love each other and no one's ever alone. And just to make this world a better place and make it one and make it so we can really enjoy what we have now. And, you know, and then he says, it's a new year. Let's make it a good one. And I think we don't have to do it just on January 1st, but every day. And his lyrics and even the sound of it just really connects to my soul. And I really am glad that you brought that up. It's a beautiful, beautiful song.
And I think this is what we do talk about. That's what our whole show is about. That's what how Scratch the Vinyl got started was literally how does music touch us in every way. And probably you're right, Kane. Christmas is probably the perfect example of going back and listening to that music that's nostalgic, that takes you back in time. And I know when you were talking about it, the grandma's Christmas cookies, I mean, you like conjured up specific memories for me, just thinking about why I was listening to that music and where it took me. And for me being out at the farm and a big family and the big feast. And yes, my grandma would cook nonstop from 5 o'clock in the morning until the hundreds of us would leave. Like, if you didn't go home with 2 pies and you were stuffed, I thought every family was like that, to be honest with you. And I found out later that's not true. So I do always feel very fortunate to be in a big family the way I was and what that meant. And that music kind of jogs that memory for me. So
Of course it does. And we talk about this all the time, don't we? Music is a time capsule. Music's a time machine. And I think that's why it resonates I think that's why the show is doing so well. You know, people like what we're doing, but it's easy to connect with people over something that everybody loves. And it's just we're having a good time talking to all these musicians, all these different people. We're getting great feedback, and it's all because of the time machine. It's all because of what music does. Like, you know, I was in the car just today, and I was just thumbing through some different things, and all of a sudden I put on my Spotify. I was playing some Christmas stuff, and it blasted me off into this direction that was completely different from Christmas. But man, it just took me on a journey, and this is what used to get me through work, right? You know, I was an electrician for 20 years, and I'm not saying it's not but like being in the trades like that, I don't know what it's like for you guys, but it's a lot of droning out, and you're kind of just a body at some of these places. And the only thing that got me through it was wearing my headphones and just zoning out. And it was like the day went so fast, and I just forgot where I was, and I owe it all to music. And it's just, if anything, for the listener out there, this show is a poem, right? We're basically writing a poem. We're writing a song. We're writing a love letter to music at all times, because all 3 of us have experienced music in so many different ways, but we all experience it in the same way too. And Christmas music is just that type of thing for me and for us. That's why I'm playing it nonstop, because I want those memories. I can almost smell my grandma's cooking and the sugar cookies and the different things that were happening. And of course I was stuffing my face with a bunch of fudge, and much to my diet's dismay, but it makes me feel fantastic. And I feel so grateful to have you guys in my lives, to help keep me going and keep me smiling and keep me talking about music and doing this show. So if anything, all I want for Christmas, and I don't want Mariah Carey, is I just want to continue doing this show with you guys. So it's been a fantastic time so far.
Kane, I agree with you, and thank you. And thank you for giving so much love and just who you and Randy are. I mean, I am honored to be with you guys. Like, seriously, like, you're my brothers, and I love it so much. And this podcast has opened up so many doors of meeting new people, and just the feelings that I get every time I get done with one of our shows. all day I'm just like, dee, 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 bop, bop, bop. And people are like, why are you in such a great mood? Because I'm always kind of, dingy. And I said, because, something wonderful happened today. We created something beautiful. And you guys always make me so happy. Like, there's no words to describe it. Like, we're some very lucky people. I would say that the universe did a wonderful job. God, whomever you believe in, brought us together. And I appreciate that.
Well, this is probably a good time to let everybody know, to our listening audience, that we have now been pushing really hard to put out all of our episodes on YouTube. So if you're listening now and maybe getting on a streaming service has been a tough way to follow our show, we now have been getting all of our episodes now on YouTube, including our video content. And like Kane just dropped another episode of Drop the Needle. So check out all those. I recommend it. Tell us a little bit more about the one you just dropped, though, Kane.
For sure. I had a blast. This was a guy that I had connected with on one of my other shows. His name is Jack Robertson. He's on another podcast called Kenyatta and Jack Save the World. He's also part of the Mars Mission Foundation, which is he started that. And basically what it is, and the reason I had him on initially was his daughter was making candles in their like making candle wax and all that in their kitchen, and burst into flames, and actually, got like severe, horrible burns. And so she had to be rushed to the hospital. They had to do all sorts of things for her, and she's okay now. But she had horrible burns. But he wanted to fill something that wasn't there. So basically, when they had to travel to wherever they went, and I'm not telling you well, there was no place to stay for these people. These were long stays, right? Getting skin grafts and all of that. So they started this foundation to take care of the cost of that sort of thing. So, it's just, he's a wonderful person, but he also shared this love of music even before we started the podcast. And so he and I would do these side episodes, one on Pink Floyd, one on all sorts of different things. And then we basically came together, and I was like, this is the perfect candidate for Drop the Needle for our exclusive content. So he's a Flaming Lips fan. He's from Oklahoma City. The Flaming Lips are from Oklahoma City. And man, it was just an absolute blast to do that show with him. So you guys got to check it out. And there's going to be more to come. I'm going to add other things. I know Randy has got in the queue with Mr. Chill coming up. He's going to have exclusive content. Brooke's going to have B-sides with Brooke. It's just, you guys have to come to our YouTube to see this, because this is where we're going to have these exclusively, where we're going to have this. Yeah, granted, you guys enjoy listening to the full episodes, but we're going to give you so much more. I'm going to do some album reviews. We're going to do all sorts of things. Heck, I might even take a video. I might even do an interview with my dog while I'm cleaning the house. Ask him about how the vacuum makes him feel, and I'm pretty sure he'll give you the saddest eyes you've ever seen. But we're going to have great content. That we have a lot of massive things going on YouTube, and I want you guys to go to our YouTube channel, the Scratch the Vinyl podcast channel, and I want you guys to subscribe, like this stuff, and help. Really, if you guys love us as much as you say you do, help us out with this so that we can make this show massive.
And again, when we get to 50,000 subscribers, we're all going to get a new Scratch the Vinyl tattoo.
Yep, it's happening. Not even on my buttocks. I'll have it right there. Maybe I'll tattoo it on my face like Mike Tyson. I think that'd be the only possible solution.
I think I'm going to go for my leg.
Okay, you got to edit this part, but it's going to be right above my crotch and it say scratch the V.
I'm not editing that part at all.
Here's where we lost all the family-oriented people to the show.
I was saying my ventricular valve on my leg.
Sure.
Vinyl now has a whole new meaning.
Oh, boy. Oh.
Sometimes we do apologize to our listeners that sometimes we do go off the rails when we get rolling with Brooke.
We do. And every time Brooke laughs, this is that behind the scenes tidbit for you. It's now become my editing go-to for a segue to another Another section of the show is when Brooke laughs. I know, okay, this is the perfect time.
You just gave me an idea for a new segment, which would be all of Brooke's bloopers.
Oh God. Oh, shit. Oh, it's all of it.
I mean, it's a lot of beeping and a lot of cussing.
You have so much to work with.
But I think there's hours of footage that we could use for this.
I think that's a wonderful. I'm going to shoot for like New Year's, like a special video. You know, like how they in radio, they do clip offs and all of that where they.
Yeah. A year in review with Brooke.
Yeah.
All right. This is as good a time as any. It's the best part of the show. Not that there aren't all great parts. They're all favorites, but this one in particular, this time of the show is mine. So stick around, everybody. We've got so many things going on. The local roundup, all the great things happening with our sponsors. What a time to be alive. So keep listening, and we will get back to scratching the vinyl.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready to rumble with the Ultimate Beard Care Showdown. Introducing our headliner, the one, the only, Squatch.
Oh yeah, Mean Jim. Squatch in the house, and I'm here to tell you about beard products that'll make your whiskers the talk of the town. If your beard's ready to take on the world, you need the power of our beard balms, butters, and oils, brother.
That's right, Squatch. Let's kick things off with the Beard Balm of Legends.
This beard balm is like a body slam for your beard. It tackles those wild hairs and smooths them out, making your beard look like $1,000,000. No sweat, brother.
What's the scoop with the beard butter?
Oh, brother, it's a game changer. This butter makes your beard softer than a cloud and as easy to manage as a well-oiled wrestling machine. Plus, it's got a scent that's as sweet as victory. Oh, yeah.
And let's not forget the beard oil.
The beard oil is the final knockout punch. It hydrates, shines, and smells like a championship belt made of cedar and pine. Your beard will be the 1, 2, 3 of any match.
Where can our fans score these unbeatable products?
You read my mind, brother. Head on over to elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and grab your beard gear. And listen up. Use the code SUPERSHOW and get a jaw-dropping 20% off. That's right, 20% off. Your beard's about to go from zero to hero, brother.
That's elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and use your code SUPERSHOW for 20%. Don't wait, make your beard the ultimate champ today. Ahoy, mateys! Christopher Columbus here. You know me. I discovered America, or at least that's what the history books have been saying for years. Anyways, I have a little confession to make. My compass quit halfway through the trip, and I got lost at sea on the way there.
Ahoy, Captain. What direction should we point the boat?
Shut up, you fool. I'm in the middle of a commercial here. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes. When we arrived on land there, the natives were all decked out in their cool Viking gear. They said these big, smelly, bearded guys came, hung out, then split with all their cool stuff.
Aye, it was a weird day.
That could have been our cool stuff. We could have claimed all this great treasure and all this pirate's plunder.
But, sir, how will we steer the boat if we don't have a compass?
Well, this next trip is going to be different. I'm heading to Slying Tattoo to get a compass on my hand. After that, everything is coming up Christopher Columbus.
Ahoy, sir. That new ink looks great on you. After I swaps the poop deck and grease the hootenannies, I think we're going to be back to sped and... Oh, no.
What is it now, you buffoon?
It appears as if America's shores are just on the horizon.
What? How could this be? I've been pointing my arm in the same direction for days. Well, looks like this tattoo compass is broken too.
Guess I'll have to head back to Sly Inc. for that dolphin lower back tattoo I've been wanting to get. Well, looks like our native friends are waving us in, but oh, wait, they don't look very happy. Well, until next time, friends, if there is one. All right, let's get to the local roundup, those sponsors, those amazing businesses that take a chance on us and give us the things we need to continue on and make the best show possible. And they're also giving you guys the best products possible, the best service, the best everything. So here we go. First off, let's start with Roots Music Shop. All you guys are looking for those gift ideas. I can't think of a better place to go than a Roots Music Shop. They have vinyl records, they have guitars, they have all sorts of instruments. Give the gift of a guitar, everybody. I mean, like, I can't think of anything better than that. But I mean, if you're not into that, I mean, I'm sure that they've got kazoos, they've got amps, they've got all sorts of things, drums, basses. They've got everything you could need. They've got acoustic guitars. So go to Roots Music Shop. They also have Roots Music Shop swag. I think you guys have seen me wearing those shirts now and then. So check that out. You can get gift cards. Go see Ryan at Roots Music Shop. Gray's Keg, everybody. Gray's Keg is the place to go for live music, and this week is no different. They have jam-packed Friday. They have the Replicants with Bleeding Horizon at 7 p.m. Saturday, the People's Band. The People's Band is from Des Moines. They're a Des Moines-based band. They're a party band. I believe they were there before and really rocked the house, so everyone's kind of looking forward to that. Sunday, they have the Nebraska Bluegrass Jam at 8 p.m. You don't want to miss that. So all you bluegrass players, get out there, enjoy yourselves, play some bluegrass with each other. Get there to Gray's Keg, everybody. But last and certainly not least, we have a new sponsor. We want to welcome Jason DeGosh with American Senior Benefits. Jason's a retirement specialist specializing in Medicare supplements and Medicare Advantage plans, life insurance, investments, long-term care, and home health care, along with many other products. He travels throughout Nebraska helping individuals on a daily basis, covering Kearney, Nebraska, and the surrounding towns as well. Please get a hold of Jason. If you need to get a hold of him, call him at 402-416-9060. Tell him that Scratch the Vinyl sent you. And now back to your favorite show, Scratch the Vinyl.
I will say one of the segments that I'm working on that will be coming up very soon, and we hope to have a very nice lineup of guests for this, is I used to book national comedy for about 8 years, and I'm looking at having a separate segment just for bringing back some of the national comics and giving them a platform and talking about what they're doing. Usually they come through the Funny Bone in Omaha. We don't have a regular comedy club here in Lincoln anymore. And so this is going to be a great way of, again, staying in touch with some of our Nebraska ties with national comedians. And I look forward to bringing that segment to you guys.
Well, I don't want to spill any of the secret sauce, Randy. We could save it for some of the interviews, but I do want to touch on the idea that I don't think Lincolnites understand how important you were to a lot of our entertainment back in the days. I mean, like when we did have comedy, you were behind a lot of that, and you were behind bringing these comics here. And it really is a gap that we're missing. And I know eventually when we have Doc Peterson on, we'll probably talk about that. But it's just, we got to bring comedy here. We got to build it up again, just like the music scene, because comedy is very important, especially in times like now where everyone's so serious and getting at each other. I mean, if people could just kind of like loosen up, like some of the best times of my life above music concerts, whereas like going to Fully Loaded last year with Bert Kreischer and all those amazing comedians. I've never had a better time in my life. I've never smiled so much in my life, and that's what we need. But when you sit back and you think about it and you reflect on it all, what made you get into comedy? Was it just the natural next step since you were already doing entertainment back then?
Well, I was looking for something different, that other people weren't doing. And I had the opportunity to work with a local national comic here. And I started going down to Duffy's to the workshops. And so I was seeing all the young guys that were, working on the material. And most of that's, look, it's raw, it's not very good, but every once in a while there's a diamond in the rough. And over time, I worked a lot of those guys, especially over the 8 years I was doing it. I worked probably 10 or 12 guys out of Duffy's that ultimately had started out and then got a little better. I'm going to drop a name like Richard Reese, who is actually still hosting up at the Funny Bone now and still does a regular circuit with the Funny Bone. I mean, absolute talent, but I was fortunate enough to work with him when he literally was brand new and has made his way through being a national comedian. There's a whole bunch of them, but yeah, I mean, it was just finding a new way of bringing entertainment to my business. And I found comedy to be one of the most exciting things because it was something that just made everybody laugh. And I just couldn't think of anything better than to have 2 hours of everybody just laughing and having a good time. That's really what my love for it became. And I could name several comics that use music as part of their show. Dan Cummings was one of my favorites. Everything was a parody to song or a lot of his comedy was just writing his own music. I just found that fascinating how talented those guys were. And I think it's just, again, it was just making people laugh and having a good time was probably why it drew to me so well, I guess. One of the things I like is that the comedians are very accessible and they're willing to work with the crowd and they interact with the crowd because a lot of times these guys have shows that can be very small or really big. And that's probably one of the hardest parts for a comic is to show up for a gig and there's not a lot of people. It's easy to get a big crowd rolling when you got a lot to feed off of and that energy to feed off. But man, if you only got like 20 people in the audience and you're still getting paid and you got to make those 20 people laugh, their job just got a lot harder. And so these guys are pros when it comes to working with different sizes of crowds and being under that kind of pressure to make people laugh. Like I said, some of my favorite ones, sometimes music in comedy saves their day just to get people going. And so like I said, I look forward to bringing some of those guys on and being part of the show.
So I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but we were talking about people who were on the show in the past, and we had the Christian rock band again for the first time on. And I guess Brent, who was on the show, I believe his last name is Romich. I was reading through some posts, and I mean, I have a lot of friends on Facebook, and all of a sudden I see his picture pop up, and I see somebody talking about it, and so I start reading, and I couldn't believe it. My heart broke. Did you guys see this at all? Basically, what happened was I guess he had like a massive seizure of some sort, and was like unresponsive. And then he was having he got rushed to the hospital, and he's having a bunch of issues with like functionality, talking, and everything else. Did you guys get a chance to see any of that?
I did. I actually got to talk to his friend Bon, and there was a very scary point while he was in the hospital. He was up here in Lincoln, but he's now, I believe, at a rehabilitation center. And as far as I know, he's doing really well, but it's going to be a long process for him. And he knows that, but this guy, man, he's so positive. And he's just, I mean, everything I see and read about him, besides the personal stuff, but just if you see him, he's just happy. He's just a happy guy. Every time I was around him or got to visit with him, he's just, I mean, he's the epitome of a wonderful man that just keeps going. Like, he was just positive. And it sucks that this had to happen to him, but his attitude, I think his positive attitude it's just unbelievable. And I think about him all the time, and lots of great energy towards him. But I think it's going to be a long road, and his spirits will stay up, and we're all there for him. So I would love to maybe go do a B-side with him, and he'll crack some jokes. I guarantee it.
Well, it can all change in a moment. I mean, I don't know what brought on his seizures. I don't know if he always battled that. I mean, I lost a best friend of my best friend of 30 some years. You know, I knew him from when we were toddlers, to grand mal seizures, and you know, to get that call, and thank goodness that didn't happen where you know, it took his life. But to get that call from somebody, it just strikes something in me. I mean, the dogs that I love so much, my dog has seizures, and that's scary. So I mean, then to see a human being do it with my friend, and everything, it's something that I personally will never rally from, and that's just as a bystander. You know, someone looking in from afar, or well, in his case, up close. But to see that happen to somebody and to lose somebody, so man, Brent, we're pulling for you. I don't know if somebody's playing this for you, but just know that you have our prayers and you have our best wishes in mind. And I really hope to see the comeback of the century with you. I hope to see you on stage, just like Richard, right? Richard going through what he went through. I want to see these comeback stories. I was a comeback story. I thought I'd never play again. And there I was at the benefit playing a six song set with my band and fronting the band again. And so it's just, we're pulling for you. And check out that band's music once again for the first time. Just give them the best wishes and have them tell Brent, if you can't, that we're all pulling for you.
Well, I know I brought this up last week in our Thanksgiving episode that my cousin Donnie Adams was dealing with stage 4 cancer, and a lot of our guests and a lot of musicians from our area have been affected by my cousin in a lot of ways. And unfortunately, he did pass away this week. And I wasn't going to necessarily bring it up on today's show because I want to actually be able to do a proper tribute to him and what he meant to so many people in our community, in the music industry, to my family and friends out there that knew Donnie, and just want to shout out, a lot of love and prayers for everybody that knew him. And he was such an impact on us individually and our community in general.
I know it's tough for you, Randy, and I know you were struggling with, do I bring it up today? Do I not? I know we want to do some sort of some form of a tribute to a man that, I'm not going to get too far into the weeds because I want to save it for that. But when I see all of these musicians on my pages and on my socials and like see the impact, and then I go and I watch like videos in his garage of him ripping on guitar and everything, I got to say, as sad as it is, I can really see the zest for life with him, and what a bright light that shine. He continued to shine and will continue to shine forever. And I hear that from all of the different musicians that are out there saying it. And I just pray for you and your family, and I hope for the best on this, and for his family. What a horrible time. Of course, we're talking about the holidays, right? The holidays are so tough. They're bittersweet. You can think of all the great things, but then tragedies like these happen, and unfortunately it kind of squashes it. But yeah, we're with you on this too, Randy. Yeah, we'll get through this, man.
If you knew Donnie at all, you know that he wouldn't want us to be sad. He would want us to celebrate everything. And let me tell you what, the last couple of days, just going back and watching a lot of the videos and the music and just playing and having a good time, like that is who he was at the core. And so I found myself not being so sad, but so much just how much, again, what we always talk about, how music brings us together. And I probably can't say any more to that right now, except for I feel at least we have that. We have so much of that body of work to go back and watch and listen. And you can just see it when he's playing with all of his friends. And no matter how big or small, if you liked a good shot of Patron and you like music, you could definitely hang out with my cousin DA.
That's just a big regret, regret for me, as we were just talking about it. And I was hoping to get in that garage with him, right? I was hoping to get him on the show. play a little bit and be one of the musicians that had the honor of playing in that garage. And that's okay though, because that's the beauty of YouTube, and that's the beauty of, I know we like to talk about the negatives, but you get to go back and you get to look at those videos from forever ago. And man, it's like, that's why I love doing it. Like if something ever happens to me, my kids can go back and they can see my entire body of work out there, and they can at least celebrate that I did something. And that man, he did a ton. And there's no one, I mean, for what he did for the state of Nebraska, for the city of Lincoln, and entertainment is unmatched, unrivaled by anybody, honestly. I mean, he's just a legend. So I can't wait to do the tribute show, get some people on there that talk about him, and more of a celebration of life type deal when we do it.
Well, I feel like we're trying to wrap things up here for another episode of Scratch the Vinyl. We are going to have our new webpage coming out soon. We've got our new shirts in. Go support our sponsors and keep supporting live music here in Lincoln.
Absolutely. Everybody, we appreciate you being on here. Yes, like all good things, this thing has to come to an end this week, but tune in next week for another amazing episode with all the best guests, all the best musicians, and your favorite 3 hosts around as we
Scratch the vinyl.
Yeah.